So, yesterday, day before yesterday, it was Monday or Sunday.
It's not really relevant to the story.
It was sometime this weekend. It is relevant, and I'll explain why in a little bit. This is a Wilson story. Our sweet angel of a 3-year-old who is just the sweetest of all of our children. I go in
Different ways. Though.
They're all sweet in different ways, but Wilson is like just straight up Mr. Sweetheart.
Yes.
I go into his bedroom to wake him up at nap time, and I just hear him going, Go in there, check on him. He says his finger hurts, and he doesn't want to get up. This finger. I leave. I walk out. I said, okay, I'll give you some time, and then I'm going to come back. I do this twice, 2 or 3 times, actually. Mm-hmm. Come back every single time. Doesn't want to get out of the bed, but the whole time he's just in there. So I think to myself, what a great teaching moment for the Kings, for a King family motto. Similar to Steak on a Monday.
Similar to Steak on a
Which
Monday.
will be brought up again later on. There is another saying for the Kings that I think that we both agree on in this household, which is, if you're going to complain, you have to fix the problem.
You have to do something to help fix the problem.
If you're not going to try to fix the problem, you can't complain about it. We aren't complainers that do nothing. Mm-hmm. So I go in there to Wilson and I check on him and I said, hey, buddy, does your finger still hurt? Mm-hmm. I said, okay, well, let's try to do something to fix it. I don't want to. Okay. Well, Wilson, in our family, if you're not going to try to fix the problem, then we need to stop complaining about it. So if you want to complain, then we're going to fix it. I don't want to fix it. And I said, well, we're not just going to lay down in the bed and whine and complain. This kid has the audacity to just lay down in that bed, turn his head over and go, I'm going to lay in the bed and complain. And then I have to walk out because I'm about to just start busting out laughing.
What do you expect the 3-year-old to say?
Like, just straight up looked at me and says, I'm going to stay in the bed and complain.
You pick the worst opportunity, the worst time to try to phone in a lesson here.
It was the best It's just a finger hurt.
I know, but he just woke up.
He didn't just wake up. It'd been like 20 minutes by that point. My goodness, that child sat in that bed forever. Anyway.
His finger's fine.
Spoiler alert. His finger is fine.
It is.
But everything else is not.
Everything else is not.
It is not. There might be a reason that our normally sweet child was having a fussy moment about his finger. This is episode... I didn't look before I got on here, so we're in trouble. I'm going to guess. This is episode 19?
No. 19 was last time. Because then I was like, ugh, 19? And so now I'm going to be like, ugh, 20?
Let's find out. This is episode 20 of Strong Opinions Weekly Held. I'm Will. This is my beautiful wife, Allison. Let's do it! So... we have had a mass casualty event at the King household.
Okay, that is very dramatic for what's happened.
It's not, because somebody... I posted your awesome picture where you put everybody's sick chart with the letters FLU and kid magnet letters on there. I posted that on X, and somebody replied, said, oh no, the King family dropping like flies. And I was like, no, we're not dropping one by one, unfortunately. Everybody got taken out at the same time. Taken out.
Everybody got taken out.
I'm from Alabama. Might as well show it.
Yeesh. Please don't.
The King family has been taken out by the flu.
The children.
Okay, that's true.
We are fine. We're
now.
Great. No. We're mind over matter, man. We're going to toxic positivity our way through the flu.
Toxic. The only thing toxic in this house is our children right now.
They all have the flu.
All of them. Every single one of them.
But I'll say this. I'll probably come back and be like, yeah, that was not accurate. But at this moment in time, it is not awful. I mean, there have been...
Define awful.
20
minutes. We had a pretty bad 20-minute loss earlier.
Know, but that was definitely not great. and probably not the best look as like a family, but
It was not
you
great.
know,
It was not great.
it's fine. They are running fevers. They're congested, but you know, we got this.
Well,
It's gonna be fun.
Let me tell you, the reason that what kicked all of this off, us going to the doctor, everyone was like, didn't seem terrible.
Yeah.
We had fevers. Everybody was like she said, congested.
That's
This
fine. Could
morning,
manage it.
our 5-year-old wakes up and is like, I can't walk.
Can't walk. Like crying will not
Talk
even
about mortifying. Like,
mortifying.
that
You were
was-
mortified?
yes. All right. I put on a brave face, but like our kid literally said she couldn't.
Horrified or terrified? Maybe not
Mortified. Scared to death.
Okay.
Mortified. Deep down inside. But I play it cool because I'm the man of the house and I've got to take care of my girls.
It was,
But it's like it was really scary just thinking about like, oh man, like our kid literally can't stand up because her legs hurt so much.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to the doctor. First, Allie did some, snooping on the internet, classic WebMD situation here, and realized that this was a pretty common symptom
with the flu.
for people at the end, towards the end of flu, as like a after effect. I'm not sure what the right
I
word
guess.
is
I
here.
don't
I'm
know.
looking for, but like you get the flu and sometimes you get other stuff like pneumonia after or ear infections. Palmer got some really long, complicated word that basically means like painful leg syndrome,
Yeah.
where she can't stand up on it. So that kicked us off going to the doctor to find out that she had the flu. And then I think we had a king record today where we had to go to the doctor multiple times. And all 3 children went to the doctor today.
Yeah.
And
But thankfully it was like Palmer and then like a chunk of time later than the boys. At
honestly,
least it wasn't
I would have
3.
rather done them all at the same time and get it over with.
No. The room was way too small. It was too hot. It was terrible.
Allie was not a fan
No,
of
it's
the
too much.
doctor's office.
Too many germs. Too many people.
Normally, so here's what generally happens. I work remote and have a very flexible schedule, so I get the honor of taking children to the doctor because Allie's, as we all know,
is
a fantastic kindergarten teacher.
Okay.
And one does not simply like leave kindergarten during the middle of the day
It's just
because it's like very difficult to find a sub. And
all
like
that stuff.
if you're just going to find a sub for like a little bit, like that doesn't really make sense because like what are they going to do? Like have a whole lesson plan for just like a short period of time. So anyway, long story short,
Yeah.
I take kids to the doctor a lot. This afternoon, we had to take both boys, and our boys stay with her mom. And her mom was like, "It has been like World War over here.
It was
Everyone's
very
like,
emotional.
having tough
very-
days." So Allie was like, "Well, why don't I just like get done with work a little earlier today, and come help with the boys?" So she came with me to the doctor, and that was an experience with those boys.
It
Let me tell
was.
you.
It was really
Everyone
sweet,
was
but-
feeling fussy. There was a really sweet moment because I had I 2 moments in the waiting room. Moment number
Oh.
1, Wilson, our 3-year-old, once again stands up and starts going, "Oh, my tummy hurts."
starts, like, yelling at the top of his lungs,
in
like,
the waiting room.
"Ah."
"My tummy is hurting. I need to poop." Just
Don't
like
say that.
out loud, just screaming, "I need to poop."
Okay, they heard you the first time.
It's hilarious. So I
funny.
take him to use the bathroom. We come back, then I realize, okay, well, I need to use the bathroom too. So I stand up to go, and I put Davis, our 1-year-old, sitting right beside Wilson, our 3-year-old. I start walking to the bathroom, and I look back over my shoulder, and Davis is just waving bye-bye at me. And then I come back, and Allie has this photo of of Davis just holding his brother's hand so sweet
It's the
beside him.
most precious thing in
It
the
was,
world.
it was great. So there's always a silver lining to any terrible day.
It was,
No matter
it's
how
not
sick
bad.
your
We got
no
this.
matter how sick your children are.
We're not going to get the flu.
I don't know, man.
No, we are not doing
I
this
feel
again.
a little.
Where we just got over bronchitis. So you
I
don't still have it.
A
No,
little.
you don't.
I got a little.
Oh my word. We're fine. We're going to be fine. We're going to be the adults here and take care of the kids. And it's going to be good. We're going to just
It's gonna be great.
hydrate, vitamins, we're going to be fine. It's going to be totally fine.
right.
And we're going to look
Sure.
back at this and be like, remember the time all three had the flu?
Allie kind of likes being like part a little sick. She doesn't like being real sick, but she likes
I
being
like being sick.
she likes
Nobody
being a little sick because when you're a little sick, guess what you get to do? You get to take NyQuil.
Oh,
And there's nothing Allie likes better than
and
a NyQuil night.
NyQuil sleep, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, it's fine.
It's
But I'm not
it's
going to take NyQuil because 3 kids with the flu. So
Yeah. Well,
we're good. We'll be fine.
flu everywhere.
Thoughts and prayers.
Tomorrow night
We'll take them.
We thought, okay, so last week, Allie's like, hey, Auburn has another basketball home game, which for all of you who don't know, who don't care about basketball, Auburn's #1 and has been for quite some time.
now, yeah.
We just beat Alabama, who was #2 over the weekend,
That's a great
and
game.
that was an awesome game. So we have tickets that are for tomorrow night to the game at Auburn for just me and her. This is the first one that we'll get to go to by ourselves
But
this
TBD
season.
if we actually get to go.
But now all the kids have the flu. My mom was going to come. My mom and my dad were going to come down. But then my dad's like going on like a trip, like a missionary trip to Africa next week. And he was like, I'm not getting sick. Bump that. So like
Feel that.
he's not coming anymore. And
How come I can't do that? I mean, like, I'm not getting sick. Bump this. This is you.
I mean,
I'm
get
just
a
kidding.
missionary trip to Africa and we'll talk.
Not like a missionary trip to school every day.
I mean,
You know.
you do share the love of Jesus with your children every day. It takes the love of Jesus to deal with your children every day.
I love my job. No, but anywho, we'll see if we get to go.
So my mom's supposed to come down tomorrow. We want to go to this Auburn game, but like now it's like,
But we understand. It's a
or
lot.
all of our nice. This happens a lot where it's like we'll have like plans to do something. I think there are at least 3 concerts that we've gotten tickets to that like something has come up with. Granted, 2 of those were like on us. We like scheduled like a trip to a concert 2 times while you were pregnant, as if
Like-
we were gonna
like
be
about to have the
totally
baby.
fine. Yeah, like 8 months in on one of them.
Or
I'm
like
pretty sure.
I really think it was like a week or so with the due date or something like that. Well, and then
We weren't that crazy. It was at least a month, but like, I think it was with Davis, which let's
yeah.
be real, by month 8 with Davis, it was like 2 months past with all of our other
Yeah.
ones. He was a giant.
but yeah, we'll see if we get to go. I hope we do.
Same.
It is
Auburn basketball. So
Auburn
fun.
basketball. Auburn
And
basketball.
they have
my
these
best
pretzel.
friend.
They have these pretzel bites.
Oh, but I want to get like the cinnamon sugar ones this time, and you can dip
Ooh,
them
but
in
you
like
can get different toppings on them.
not like toppings.
Like instead of salt, you can get cinnamon sugar.
they're sweet.
Do they have like icing to dip it in instead of mustard? Mm.
Yeah,
I think we should get both, a little sweet, a little salty.
I don't know.
Anyway, that's
So, yeah.
tomorrow.
That's hopefully tomorrow. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Unless also it's supposed to like snow where my mom lives, so like who knows? So many
knows?
factors into whether we get to go to the game tomorrow night.
If not, we'll watch it from home,
Sadly,
or I'll try to go and leave you here. No, I'm just kidding. But
which is fine. I got a lot of work to do because speaking of lots of work to do, lots of crunchy stuff going on. I've got a really fun project.
cool.
We've got our big like quarterly planning tomorrow where like you get to propose projects to work on and then it gets moved on this grid of like high effort, low effort, high impact, low impact.
Why
So
wouldn't it be low on this side and high on this side?
I don't
Sorry.
know. Like you get what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's a grid.
Okay.
There's a corner
Yeah,
that's
I got
low
it.
effort, low impact.
I got you. Yes.
There's a corner that's high effort, high impact.
Yes.
And you just kind of position things.
Yes.
Ideally, you want things in high impact, low effort.
Yes.
But anyway, that's how we like do our planning each quarter for our team. And I've got 2 projects that I'm very excited about that I cannot talk about.
I was about to say, this feels like dangerous waters. I feel like you're about to start talking things. It's going to be like, redacted.
Redacted. Redacted.
So, cool.
But that's going to be fun. So I've got like a lot of work to do tonight, actually, because sick children means I didn't get a lot of work done today. So I got to get that done. Because I've got
Sorry,
to be able,
Crunchy.
I've got to present a proof of concept tomorrow on one of them because I don't, it's like a very visual thing that I want people to be like, oh, I get it. Because if I just explain it, it won't sound as good as like, oh,
if
I
you
feel
explain
it.
it, you'll like vomit,
Yeah.
leave, and
Yeah,
go off
exactly.
here
So-
for 20 minutes. And I get that.
So I need
You work. I'll watch Love is Blind.
I need a proof of
It's
concept.
fine.
So I got to work on that tonight. And then I got mentioned. As you
Oh,
know,
heavens.
I got to work with Aaron on some logos.
I want.
And
I
then,
think I can't breathe this room. I think your like ego is
oh, so big. I've got the
taking
world's
up. Like,
biggest head right now because
he made me
I got
listen
to
to
work
it.
I got to work with the other half of the Mostly Technical pod, Ian, business dad is what they call him.
Okay.
Because he's been around as like a business owner in software for so long. He has a whole lot of experience doing it.
Cool.
And so there's all these youngins like us that come in and are trying to do business type things, and we just don't know the right way to approach it. So he always gives advice to people about how to run a business and not just build something cool.
Cool.
So they call him Business Dad. Business Dad Ian. Anyway, so I got to do a logo for his business, HelpSpot. Yes, HelpSpot. And that was super fun. Allie.
I feel like you shouldn't say it and then like second guess if that's the right thing. Like if you did it and that's the name, like you gotta
Look,
gusto,
okay,
man.
HelpSpot. It was great. It was a
I
really
hope that's right.
It is right. It was a really fun logo project. It was like one of those like I knew his business was like he has a very good business, but he is not like a super mainstream brand. So for him, a priority is getting something that looks good, catches attention, but doesn't need to be some like giant to do. Doesn't need to be some big production. So I just like put a few ideas down,
Cranked it out.
cranked it out, got something that looked really good, really flexible.
Not during business hours, Crunchy.
Definitely not.
Okay.
And
Like we should just disclaim that. Just
definitely
like,
a good disclaimer. Got that turned out, and then now we've got something to go with to put a little redesign on some pages on his website as well. So that would be fun.
cool.
And one thing about Business Dad Ian is that he's generally what they call a no man. So that means like in their podcast, Aaron is like, oh, like, but I could do this, and I could do it this way and that. And generally Ian's like, no, like, why would you do that? Don't do that. Stop doing that. That's not a good idea. Like, he's generally the critical one. Sounds like another pairing on a podcast that might be familiar.
Oh man.
Meet my no man.
That's not fair. That is incorrect.
It's just a better way of saying somebody who thinks a little more critically about things instead of jumping feet first without thinking. But
Whatever you need.
anyway, long story short, I've now worked with both of them, and I made it on the podcast. I got a mention.
You did.
I did. I started getting a bunch of random followers today on X, and I was like, what is happening right now?
He is so excited about this.
I am, because I like both of them a lot, and now I've got to work with both of them, and that's like the only reason I ever take on a side project now, because I don't charge as much as I should. I'm not going to tell you that.
You just
Too
did.
late. but I do it because I like to like work with people that I want to have a relationship with,
Totally.
and now I have relationships with both of them, and now we're like buds, and now we get to like do cool things together. And on the podcast, Ian mentioned at the end that my availability is very weird, and he doesn't know if I'm accepting new projects. And he's right. My availability is very weird.
It is odd.
I don't really accept new projects
Not a ton.
unless I like already know you, or like what you're doing is extremely cool.
That sounds cruel.
It's not cruel. It's
don't
just
know.
like the reality of like I have a very busy schedule.
Yes.
Number one,
You do
Family.
have it's the luxury of you have the ability to be selective, you know?
exactly. Rule number one, family first. Projects can't take over family time. Number two, my job is awesome.
Yeah.
They're great. They do a lot for me. They're very flexible with my schedule. I'm not ever going to ruin that. So they
Totally.
deserve all my attention, respect, and focus.
Mm-hmm.
So that is why I'm very selective, why I pick who I work with, why I also don't care to charge crazy amounts either, because this is not like my income. It's more of like networking, relationship building, working with cool people, getting
Doing
to
this stuff just so you get mentioned on some rando podcast.
Sure. LOL. Just called Mostly Technical a rando podcast, which I made her listen to, and she was salty.
I was a little bit.
Allie's like, I didn't get a mention either.
I mean, like, let's be honest. All two of you that listen to this.
This is true. Allie is half of my personality on social
I
media.
am 75% of your personality.
That, my friend, is a bit aggressive, I think.
I think it's true. I'm just kidding.
Y'all tell me. I'm my own man. I'm not defined by my wife. I do love her very much, but
What?
But I'm my own man.
No, I'm
But
just kidding.
anyway, it was
I
just
don't need
really
a
cool.
mention on it.
It was just really cool getting mentioned.
That
I've
is.
listened to them for like a real long time, and
He was very giddy and very jolly.
why you gotta out me as giddy?
Well, 'cause
Just
you
kidding.
were like-
I was super giddy. I was like,
You were-
listen, babe, I was on the podcast.
Listen to this. They talked
It's
about
awesome.
me.
Yeah,
So
and they said they liked working with me. So
that's
boom,
a testament
that's a win.
to your character and your work ethic. And
Oh, tell me more. Tell
way
me
to
more.
go.
Thanks, babe. I appreciate it. But yeah,
Double thumbs up.
just had to mention that. That was super fun.
Yep.
The funniest part that they mentioned was when I was over in Amsterdam running the booth, and people kept coming up to me. Aaron mentioned this, and it was really funny, and Craig gave me crap about it afterwards.
Rightfully
And
so.
people just kept coming up, and after Aaron did his talk, and it was just like, oh, dude, those logos that you did were so great. I bet you should go work at Laravel. Oh, I bet Laravel's going to ask to hire you. Blah, 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 all this stuff. And Craig's just looking at me like, what the heck, man? Like, but
Yeesh.
here's what I would like to say. Guess who all showed up at the booth to talk about Crunchy Data stuff because they wanted to say hey to me
I don't
because of the logos.
Oh, jeez.
And then
Louise.
two, we just got mentioned Crunchy Data on their podcast, Mostly Technical, which has a pretty big listening group.
This.
And Aaron said Crunchy Data, a great database hosting product. So it's like I got a free ad read out of it. They didn't have to pay for it just because
Neat.
I did some extra work on the side that benefited Crunchy in some small way. So it's all good. It's all good.
Good job.
I make it happen.
I mean, you know,
Business.
that's like good in like your world, you know, like
This is true.
in my Venn diagram of
In her Venn diagram, she was
Of,
just
like-
mad she was not mentioned as being hilarious on X, which she is, by the way.
I'm going to be really honest. I'm offended.
Very offended.
Just kidding. I really don't care.
All right.
But
One last
proud
thing.
of you for you doing your work.
Kids,
it up.
kids have the flu.
Kids have the flu. You are now have an even bigger head because you were mentioned on somebody's podcast. And Will broke the rule.
No, okay.
You
no,
broke
no,
the number one
no.
rule
Mm-mm.
in this household.
We're not going to just. You can't.
I can.
Innocent until proven guilty. There is a debate that needs to be had.
There is.
The rule is no steak on Monday.
Ever.
We did not have steak on Monday.
But we did the dessert version of steak.
However, does that count though?
It
does that count?
You can't start here.
But did we start there?
We did.
Just because of a singular dessert.
You know those desserts are incredible and you can't top it. There's a bakery here in Montgomery that's been open for like 100 years.
And it's way too close to our house.
It's so close to our house.
way
and
too close.
They have the best pedophores.
Which, for all of you dudes who listen to this have no idea what a pedophore is, it's a little tiny cake that's like 2 bites, and it is the most moist, delicious.
Ew. Don't say that on this podcast. Don't do it.
How else do you describe a good cake?
I mean-
it's moist, delicious.
And it's like
Oh, it's just
covered in frosting.
covered in a very thin layer of frosting, and it's just like 2 bites of
And they're
just
just-
pure heaven.
And it's incredible with coffee.
And this bakery's like specifically like they have like a hint of almond extract in their recipe, like their
Like,
secret
just enough.
recipes, like just
It's
a
not their
hint.
secret recipe, but like it's
It's
a
a secret-
good cake.
It's a secret recipe. Everybody loves a secret recipe.
I
They've
know.
been around for like
I know we
literal
have some.
forever.
Don't we have more downstairs? I'm like, I want to go show one. But
What a great idea. I'll be right back.
no, because then that's going to leave me here by myself for a really long time. And
Even
that
better.
feels even more
Figure it out.
dangerous.
Bye.
Okay. Anywho, now I don't know what to do. I'm a little uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie. So here we are waiting for Will. But send Will to the bakery. And I was like, oh, we should maybe just do that and get something from this bakery down the street. He comes home with
There's only 2 left.
there's 2 left. He comes
Because
home
I came
with
home with 6.
6 of them. You were overzealous, man.
I was not
You needed
overzealous.
if
We
you were
needed-
going to do this, you only needed 2. Okay? Just one.
Incorrect. Half a dozen.
So he goes to the bakery, gets 6 of these pedophores and like some other assortment of goodies, and brings them back.
Mm-hmm.
We have a delightfully afternoon coffee,
With a little pedophore.
and
Oh, so perfect.
it was
And
the kiss
Allie-
of death on this week.
Okay, first of all, when we did that, you did not complain or call me out a single time.
Because it didn't
was
dawn on me
tonight.
today.
It was tonight when we were sitting in the kitchen
Staring at that dang medicine chart.
reviewing the how bad our week has turned today, that Allie looks at me and says, "This is your fault." She's like, "What? How is this my fault?"
It is Will's fault.
And she says it's because the pedophores are the steak of desserts.
Yes.
And that I broke our no steak on Monday rule by having pedophores because
Yep.
they're the steak of desserts.
Yep.
And I don't think I don't think I broke the rules.
I think you
I
broke
don't-
the rule.
I don't think it. I don't know how we're going to do this, but we need somebody else to break the ruling on this.
And it's
I
not
stand
like
by
it's
my
because it's the
innocence.
most wonderful dessert on the planet. Like, I am sure there's some place somewhere that has like way
Sure,
better
sure,
dessert.
sure, sure,
But
sure.
in our corner of the world right
Just
now,
picture this: an afternoon cup of coffee with this 2-bite piece of dessert.
sweet, wonderful,
To where you don't feel sick after it.
No,
it's
it's
just the right
just
amount of sweet.
perfect.
It is.
It's
It really is
the
perfect.
proverbial steak. Ha! Yeah, you could feel it when you said
As
it.
soon as I said it, I
Yeah.
knew it. Maybe it
Yeah.
was a bit of a steak on a Monday situation.
So
Steak on a Monday is really just a metaphor
it is.
for don't do the best
But
thing
this
in your
is
week on
the
Monday.
proverbial steak.
Crap.
Will got it.
I staked.
Brought it.
I staked a steak on a Monday.
brought
We
it
need
into this home
steak
and
on
thus
Monday.
set the tone and the trajectory of our week. And that
To
trajectory
be straight
is
down the garbage chute, just straight in the crapper.
so
Oh, so
I'm
help.
kind of scared to think what the rest of this
Somebody
week
help.
holds.
When this episode releases on Thursday,
We'll
y'all
just kind of have like
y'all
a bullet
check on
point
us,
of
please.
like
Check to see if we went to the Auburn game, see if we're still alive.
check to see if Auburn won. Oh,
No, not if Auburn. won. I mean,
like what if
Auburn's,
we lose?
Auburn's gonna stop.
Okay.
Stop.
I'm sorry.
You better take that back. Knock on some wood. How dare you? Also, friend of the pod, Connor. Fast friend. He commented on my post when I posted your picture of the FLU and said, been at home for a week with this. Finally, everyone's getting better. And I just said, ew, why would you? I didn't say this to him, but I was like, why would you say that? A whole week of this?
We got it.
We got it.
Mine never matter, man. You're gonna be fine.
Hell.
It's not that big of a deal.
Babe,
We got it.
we
It's not
had-
that big of a deal.
we literally gave our kids Oreos to try and take their medicine, and they still would not take their medicine.
It was like ripping
An
off
Oreo
the band.
bribe, and they still wouldn't take
They
it.
took it.
They finally took it, and
It's like ripping off a Band-Aid. We've
Wilson
done it once.
spit some of it out and was screaming at me about
Okay.
it.
Okay. If you keep looking at this as the glass half empty,
You're right.
Then
I'm
it's
being
gonna
a
be a
real you
miserable
right
time.
now. You're not. Our roles have straight up reversed.
No,
normally
it's
you're
because we don't have
normally
time for
you're
this.
the one
we
who's
don't
like more
have
realistic.
time for this. We gotta get
Look
it
at
together.
this, guys. Everybody give Allie a round of applause.
Oh,
Look at
don't
you
do
being a little
this.
Miss Positive.
I'm not
so
being
proud of you.
positive. I'm just like, we have a job to do, and it's to.
We do have a job to do.
Keep
and
this
she is
ship running.
positive we're going to make it through it.
Oh, jeez.
This is like our goals argument where you were like, it's not a goal.
It's not a
It was a
goal.
goal,
It was
and
not
we
a goal.
crushed it.
Did we?
Yeah, we sure as heck did, man. What do you mean?
Like we did it.
We did it. And we did a
would
great
we crushed
job.
it? I would.
Crushed it.
Okay.
What else would you say spending 25 days following rules to a T were? Crush it.
No.
We crushed it.
Okay.
All right. We're going to bed. Peace.
Okay.